Hello everyone, my name is Alex and I am the National Partnerships Manager with British Blind Sport. So I've been asked to come on and present to you guys today around sport, sight loss and the links with mental health as well. For those of you that don't know much about British Blind Sport, we are a national disability sports organisation and a charity that enables blind and partially sighted people to have the same opportunities as sighted individuals to access and enjoy sport and recreational activities in the UK. Today, our vision is to empower all visually impaired individuals to get active and enjoy sport, whether it's taking your first steps or also helping to secure yourself on a talent pathway and encourage individuals to fulfil their potential. So BBS has some really key objectives. So we've got 4 main objectives. Our first one is to promote inclusivity across the sporting community for blind and partially sighted people. Secondly, we'd like to grow participation in sport for blind and partially sighted people. We'd also like to develop new opportunities in sport for blind and partially sighted people, working with key partners in order to develop those opportunities and also sharing information and promoting those opportunities as well. And then also to support the sports sector. So enabling, encouraging and educating the deliverers of sport as to the needs of blind and partially sighted athletes, both from a grassroots level up to a Paralympic standard. I've got some statistics to share with you. These are sourced from the RNIB, some data that they'd shared in 2019. Some of these you might be very well aware of already, but there's some really nice links to both mental health and sport and activity within this as well. So as you may already know, there's over 2 million people living with sight loss in England. The gender split sits at 39% male and 61% female. There's over 25,000 children in the UK living with sight loss. 73% of people who are registered blind or partially sighted are currently not in paid employment. And 77% of blind and partially sighted people are aged 65 years or over. There is a link between sight loss and reduced well-being, with over a third of older people with sight loss also living with depression. We've got a statistic here around activity levels. So 9% of blind and partially sighted people are currently physically active, but 33% of inactive blind and partially sighted people do want to do more sport. So that's where British Blind Sport comes in here. We need to identify the barriers that are preventing these individuals from taking part in sport and activity and working hard to try and overcome those barriers. We've also got some statistics to share around COVID-19 and particularly lockdown and the impact that that's had on blind and partially sighted people's levels of activity. So there's been a 17% increase in sedentary hours spent per day by blind and partially sighted people. A 53% drop in sports participation during lockdown. This is probably quite reflective of the whole society. I think with sports clubs and activities stopping, it's been really hard for people to get involved in activity. Just under 50% of blind and partially sighted people felt that their emotional well-being had worsened due to COVID-19. 31% of blind and partially sighted people had struggled to access information that they needed throughout the pandemic. And 54% had felt a loss of independence as a result of the pandemic. Some positive news, there was a 30% increase in exercise during lockdown, which is great. And this is online exercise, but unfortunately, only just under 20% of those had considered that online exercise to be VI friendly. Again, BBS had a role to play in this in trying to offer more accessible online opportunities for blind and partially sighted people, which I will talk through with you in a second. So we've got some information here around sport and mental health. Sport England research shows that there are some strong positive correlations between poor mental health and physical inactivity. But despite the proven benefits of sport and activity on mental health, people with mental health problems face significant barriers to being active. Some research by Mind suggests that almost 70% of people with mental health problems feel that their mental health makes taking part in physical activity too difficult. Factors such as worrying about body image, being intimidated by sports settings like gyms, and also difficulty in finding the motivation can all prevent people with mental health problems to get active. Research by the RNIB suggests that, unsurprisingly, the lockdown has had a detrimental impact on blind and partially sighted people's overall well-being. People have felt that they have lost their freedom and independence to get out and about. Many have felt that they have become more disabled as a result of the lockdown restrictions, and pointed out that their world has significantly shrunk as well. But there is obviously very many benefits of sport and physical activity, particularly benefits to mental well-being as well. So studies show that physical activity has a positive impact on our mood. One study asked people to rate their mood after a period of exercise, for example, walking or gardening, just general physical activity, and also to rate their mood after inactivity, for example, reading a book. Researchers found that people felt more awake, calmer, and more content after taking part in physical activity. Being regularly active is shown to have a beneficial impact on alleviating stress. It can help manage stressful lifestyles and can help us make better decisions when under pressure. Research on working adults show that active people tend to have lower stress rates compared to those who are less active. Physical activity also has a big impact on our self-esteem, and that's kind of relating to how we feel about ourselves and our perceived self-worth. There is a key indicator of mental well-being. People with improved self-esteem can cope better with stress, and it also improves relationships with others. Exercise has also been described as a wonder drug in preventing and managing mental health. Many GPs now prescribe physical activity for depression, either on its own or together with other treatments. It's effective at both preventing onset of depression and also managing ongoing symptoms. Also, British Blind Sport conducted some research into barriers in sport and activity for blind and partially sighted people. And we had conducted some focus groups which identified 12 main motivations for taking part in sport and physical activity. It was interesting to find that a third of focus group participants had stated that social interaction and feel-good factors were their main motivation. A quarter of participants also stated that self-confidence and stress relief was one of their main motivations. So what does British Blind Sport offer for blind and partially sighted individuals? So we offer introduction to sport and physical activity opportunities, so through our Have a Go days and our BBS activity finder, which I will talk to you about shortly. Our online Active at Home programme, which is a new project that we have developed off the back of COVID-19. We've got our ongoing membership offer, which offers links to our sports section competitions and events, and also recreational site classifications. BBS offers general support with inquiries and any ongoing queries that people have around sport and activity. And then we also have a number of other projects developed. So, for example, our See Sport Differently project, our See My Voice project, and First Steps as well. And I will just briefly go over these in a little bit more detail. So our Have a Go days are multi-sport taster events that provide blind and partially sighted people with opportunities to try a wide range of sports. Free activities can include football, athletics, goalball, gymnastics, rock climbing, cricket, bocce, and much more. Last year, these events were hugely popular and we had some really good feedback from participants. We try to deliver these across the country, and we have a target of 30 participants at each event. And we also partner with local organisations in order to deliver these events. We've got some coming up over the next couple of months. We've actually got one on the 13th and 14th of September, and this is in Sheffield. It's our Move More Celebrates Inclusive Sports events. We've also got a Bristol Have a Go Day, which is in partnership with Sight Support West of England, happening on the 25th of September as well. We also have our online activity finder. So whether you are someone who is fit and sporty and looking for new challenges, or you've never really looked at exercise before and want to find out what's going on in your area, our activity finder could be a really useful resource for you. So you can search for VI inclusive activities in your area. There are over 900 activities logged today across 40 different activities. Some of these include athletics, cricket, general fitness, goalball swimming, and there's lots more on there as well. We've also partnered with England Athletics for a Find a Guide database, and this enables blind and partially sighted people to be connected with licensed and trained guide runners in their area. Similar setup, you go onto the database, pop in your postcode, and it will bring up a list of all the guide runners in your area as well. BBS obviously believes that everyone should have access to physical activity, whether that could be outside in open air or even exercising in the front room. We'd like to keep our participants active through our Active at Home programme. This makes sure that our service users are seeing progress in their strength and fitness and also building their stamina. The programme consists of daily workouts and also monthly live workout weeks. So the first week of each month, we have our live workout week, which features many activities, including yoga, Pilates, boxercise, HIIT, and also strength and tone. And then following those live workout weeks, we also offer pre-recorded sessions that get put up onto our YouTube page that people can go into and take part in at any point that they want as well. We're wanting to continue this programme even after COVID. We've connected with a whole new range of individuals through the programme, and it's something that I think would benefit individuals even when life does start to go back to a new normal as well. We also offer our membership and our link with the sports sections. So BBS is a membership body and we've got over 1,000 members. By joining BBS, you can receive a number of benefits. So, for example, you get your recreational site classification, which enables eligibility for nationally recognised events and competitions. You can also receive our biannual membership magazine, which can also be sent in an audio version if requested as well. We have an e-newsletter that goes out monthly, which just keeps people up to date with information and events and competitions that are happening within BBS. We also offer a free advocacy service that connects blind and partially sighted people and others within a sport. And we also have the opportunity to play in our BBS sports sections. These sections offer across 80 events and competitions a year. And the sections that we have links to are our acoustic shooting section, archery section, cricket and 10-pin as well. So these are great sports, lots of competitions for people to take part in when they feel that they're ready to take their sport to the next level as well. We've also got some other projects that might be of interest. So our See Sport Differently project is a really new project that's just launched, and it's in partnership with RNIB and funded by Sport England. It's a 3-year project to develop participation in sport amongst people with sight loss. The project begins with a 3-month research that's going to allow us to better understand the impact of COVID-19 and physical activity for blind and partially sighted people. BBS will also be working closely with 6 national governing bodies of sport, including football, swimming, athletics, goalball and tennis. And there will also be one other that's yet to be determined. And RNIB are conducting accessibility reviews of key sporting venues. There will also be plans for a mass participation event in 2022 across multiple locations where we hope to enable loads of blind and partially sighted individuals to get involved in sessions and events. See My Voice is a sports leadership programme. It's a volunteering programme for blind and partially sighted young people. The project helps young leaders gain confidence and develop key life skills, which inevitably will boost their self-esteem and improve their employment prospects. It also allows young leaders to meet new people and become involved in their communities with sport and activity as well. We're currently recruiting young people with a visual impairment aged between 14 to 19 to volunteer for the scheme, which is a year long, and it's going to begin in September 2021. Applications are currently open and will close by the end of August. Our First Steps Nationwide project is a British blind sport initiative that's funded by Children in Need, and it has a capacity to support over 450 visually impaired children and families living in the UK over the next 3 years. Children aged between 3 to 11 who register for the project will receive a First Steps pack, which takes them on their very own active adventure with Jangles the Jingle Ball. And this pack's delivered free of charge straight to participants' door as well. So again, a really exciting project and one that we want to encourage many young people and families to get involved with. Hopefully that's provided you a little bit of an insight into our work and also our ongoing work as well. If you want any more information about our projects or to sign up to any of our activities events, you can head to our website, which is britishblindsport.org.uk, or you can email us, which is info@britishblindsport.org.uk, or you can give us a phone on 01926 424 247. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.